I would like to once again thank Fed and the Brazilian American Chamber of Commerce for helping us with the logistics and facilitating this event. It has been a challenge, but I think we arrived at a good spot here this morning. And I also want to thank João Fruet for all the help that Banco do Brasil has provided us in organizing this event.
Nós temos buscado, nesse novo momento do Brasil, apresentar uma nova maneira de se fazer gestão na área pública no país. O Paraná tem sido um estado que tem conseguido fazer isso de forma muito inovadora. Primeiro, implantando um projeto administrativo de diminuir a máquina pública. Nós diminuímos de 28 para 15 secretarias. O Paraná é um estado que fica no sul do Brasil. Ele está no centro de 70% da produção da América do Sul, do PIB da América do Sul. Então ele é estratégico em termos de logística, devido a essa posição geográfica. E a matriz econômica do nosso estado, ela é focada em duas vertentes. Uma que é o agronegócio. Nós somos o maior produtor de alimentos por metro quadrado do mundo. E a segunda é a industrialização, em especial na área automotiva, desde produção de tratores até produção de caminhões, carros e assim por diante. Nós somos hoje o maior produtor de energia do país. Temos a Copel Telecom, considerada a melhor empresa do Brasil em termos de geração, transmissão e relação com a população no sentido de prestação de serviço na área de energia. Nós temos a Itaipu Nacional, que é a maior usina hidrelétrica do planeta em geração de energia. Nós temos hoje o Porto de Paranaguá, que é o segundo maior porto do Brasil, e em poucos meses seremos o maior porto em movimentação de containers do país.
Copel, that is the energy company in Paraná, has a subsidiary that is Copel Telecom. I have a slide for Copel Telecom also, and this is very important for all the strategies that are being created to develop the Paraná state, because Copel Telecom has fiber optics arriving in every city in Parana state. We have 399 municipalities in Parana state, and all those municipalities have fiber optic delivering high-speed internet to these cities. So 85 cities with broadband for retail, 401 cities with optic fiber, because there are cities that are out of Parana state. The focus of the company nowadays is in cash generation, as you can see on those slides. Cash generation, it's growing up. Net revenue, EBITDA, and net income, it's going up. 23.8% of reduction in personal costs. That responds to $28 million of reduction in personal costs, showing how important it is to make Copel a very efficient company to the point of view of the administration of the company. 6.8 increase in the volume of energy sold to final consumers in the first quarter of 19, and 5.1 growth in grid market in the first quarter of 19 also. Talking about Copel Telecom is one of the largest opportunities that we have regarding privatization. Revenue in the first quarter of 19, $30 million. Last 12 months, $150 million of revenue, with a very significant EBITDA and a net income of $5.6 million in the last 12 months. This company is being prepared to be privatized, what's going to be a great opportunity in Paraná state. The ports of Paraná are the first in efficiency in Brazil among the country's public ports. It's simply the most efficient port in Brazil. Third in Brazil in volume of general movement and timber exports. It moves 10,000 tons per linear meter of quay. Second in value of exports, $18 billion in exports in 2018, 3.5 billion surplus in 2018, and 32.4 billion in the chain of trade in 2018. In terms of containers movimentation, we can see that we are growing in terms of containers movimentation regarding exports, 12% growing up in 2019. And in terms of imports, we also can see a very expressive increase in the number of containers movimentation. Another set of numbers, 46% waiting time of ships diminished. This is a result of the administration of the governor Ratinho Jr. and his strategy to make the ports even more competitive than they used to be. 8% reduction in lead crimes, movement above the average without rose in the Supreme Court. This is very important because in past times we used to see in the times of busy movimentation in the ports, huge lines over the roads waiting to operate in the ports. Those lines does not exist anymore. So the ports have gone through a very important process of professionalization and increase of its efficiency. Talking about grains, this railroad can transport most of Brazilian production of grains to the port of Paranaguá, leaving from Dourados, that is in the state of Mato Grosso do Sul. $800 million capex estimated investment, 1,000 kilometers of extension, 90 million to 50 million tons estimated volume increase per year, 42 municipalities directly benefited, 6.4 billion total GDP, and 1.5 million impacted inhabitants. Paraná state has 1/3, 32% roughly, of the kilometers that are going to be given in concession to the private sector to operate roads in Paraná. The current highway concessions can be seen in this chart, so you can see that there is a very important highway concession that is going to be object for another bid in the near future, and Governor Ratinho Massa wants to extend this. So you can see that there is 400 and 100,000 kilometers of roads to be given to the private sector to operate. This is really, really a huge opportunity. As I said, 1/3 of the roads that are going to be given to the private sector in Brazil are in Paraná state. The beginning of highway concessions will be 2021 and the bidding announcement will be 2020, next year. The projects are in the final phase of preparation to being announced.